Slovakia Chronicles, a podcast of information, news and much more of our beloved Slovakia. By Andrea Paolo Mazzucchetti. It's me! Let's start! Hello everyone! Welcome to the 42nd episode of the Slovakia Chronicles Podcast. Unfortunately, Slovakia is still in black tier when looking at the national level of the COVID-19 automat alert system. In regional terms, 20 of Slovakia districts are still marked as black tier districts, while 53 districts are dark red. This is a classification that will apply as Monday 1st of March. In the dark red district, a negative test result is necessary every 7 days when going to work. 6 districts are in the red tier, where a negative test no older than 14 days is required. Last week, 10 districts were marked as red. In fact, the situation with the number of new cases and hospitalized patients has deteriorated again. The 7 days rolling average is 5,089 new cases a day and 4,017 people have been hospitalized with COVID-19 in the hospitals. Health Minister Mark Krajci sees no room for lifting measures. Such a step would cause a faster deterioration of the pandemic situation in the country, he said. What is alarming is that, according to the expert, one patient with COVID-19 dies in the hospital on average every 3 hours. So, there is a lot to do to improve the situation, and some experts try to share their views about what Slovakia needs to do to relieve the critical situation. And they came out with 10 pieces of advice about how to stop the mass spreading of the virus and the collapse of the hospitals. Definitely, the first advice is to vaccinate more. Slovakia has deployed 3 vaccines so far: Pfizer, Moderna and AstraZeneca. But there are several rumors that the government is thinking to include also the Russian vaccine Sputnik, not approved by the European Union Health Commission. Another advice is to reduce the mobility of the people. An expert say mobility can only decrease through better enforcement of the anti-pandemic measures and checks. Another suggestion is to close airport and check on the people coming from abroad, especially to keep under control the different variation of the virus strain, identified so far. In addition, experts recommend resuming the tracing through a mobile app, for example. Another measure could be to analyze the virus in infected people, to check possible mutation and also to improve the outpatient and hospital healthcare, maybe setting up a new hospital in the east of the country, due to the lack of beds. And, as last recommendation, experts suggest to improve the cooperation with the armed force to better contain the spread of the patient in the hospital. But let's change the topic now, and let's see what is going on in Slovakia beside the COVID. An important news is that the government this week approved an amendment to the state citizenship law. According to the approved text, Slovak citizens who acquire citizenship of another state will not be longer automatically deprived of the Slovak citizenship. The citizens in question will be required to notify the Ministry of the Interior within a maximum of 90 days from the fact. If Parliament approves it, the amendment is expected to come in effect from the 1st July this year. This will affect Slovaks who acquire foreign citizenship while residing in the country for at least 5 years and are able to prove it, but is also applied to citizens who acquire citizenship of their husband or wife during marriage. The law also makes it possible to acquire Slovak citizenship for former Slovak citizens who have been deprived of it at their request and for people who have at least one parent, grandfather or great-grandfather of Slovak nationality. They will no longer be required to reside in the country to obtain a citizenship. The language proficiency exception will also apply to the citizenship application or foreign citizen over the age of 65. The measures aim to find a solution to the problem caused by the law of 2010, when the first government of Robert Fico decided to react to a new Hungarian legislation that granted citizenship of Hungary to all ethnic Hungarian citizens residing abroad. An issue that was then considered an unwelcome disrespect by Bratislava, in one of the lowest moments of the relationship between the two countries. Since then, there have been a numerous attempts to change the law, always unsuccessful. Only last year, the new government informed that it was working on a change that should have the support of the entire coalition, as already promised in the program statement. So, this is a good news that, in this period, look like a miracle. An unusual statistic is that the last year was the warmest in the past 140 years. In Slovakia, 2020 was an extremely abnormal year and is among the 10 hottest years marked since the beginning of the meteorological measurement. Rainfall was also abnormal, with October as the rainy month of the year. And the last but not least, good news for the supporter of the COVID complotism. The Slovak telecom company is the first in Slovakia to build a 5G network for a large audience. For the moment, the telecom network supports the newer mobile phone models from Apple, Samsung, Huawei, Xiaomi, OnePlus. Other companies like Orange and 4KA have already announced the launch of their commercial service with 5G by April, again starting from the Slovak capital. Then, again no good news, but at least the hope is the last thing to die. Thank you for being part of the Slovakia Chronicles family and stay safe.